Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to our Raising Healthy Kids webinar. We wanted to start off the school year with talking about how to keep our kids nice and healthy as we go back to school and our families. I'm Dr. Tiffany, and this is Dr. Jessica, and we're excited to dive into immunity and some fun stuff today.
Thanks for joining us, guys. So let's get started.
So first, we're going to talk about how you can be preventative with boosting the immune system. Starting off with nutrition, we all know if we eat better, we feel better. So increasing greens and decreasing sugar. There are a lot of greens that have some high iron levels, which help with your oxygen levels in your body. So when you want to help increase your oxygen by warding off viruses and bacteria. And then decreasing sugar, we know that it's inflammatory. So as best we can, I know there's going to be a lot of goodies going back to school, trying to limit those as best we can with the control that we have. And cutting out high fructose corn syrup. If you're beginning your health journey with your whole family, because I also understand that, it's baby steps when it comes to kids and the things that we change with habits and nutrition. The best thing and the first thing you could start doing is cutting out high fructose corn syrup. That would be listed on the back of the label under the ingredients. So if you're looking at canned goods, some candies, things in the store, even looking at some baked goods, always look for that ingredient. There are studies that show that high fructose corn syrup increases inflammation and is directly related to increasing obesity. So rather than sugar, I'd rather you cut that out first and foremost.
When it also comes to nutrition, I would just say whole foods are going to be better than anything. So if you can, just try to have your kid eat more fruits and veggies along the way. If they're not apt to greens and vegetables, you can even try a greens powder. That might be something easier to sneak into a smoothie, for example, or if you're making popsicles because it's summertime, might be something that you could put in a popsicle or something simple. So the next thing is getting adjusted to ignite their immune system. Kids come in oftentimes not because they have back pain, but it's honestly to keep them as healthy as possible as they're growing up. And an adjustment before the school year starts and during the school year is going to be super important to keep those immune systems boosted so that they can fight off bacteria and infections.
Some supplements that you can start taking on a daily basis, you and the family, is going to be vitamin D. You can take some vitamin D daily to just keep your immune system high. We know a lot of people that have lower vitamin D levels, even though we've been in the sun throughout the summer. The best way to know what your levels are is to get blood work, get it checked. But even if you don't know, just to take some vitamin D, maybe 1,000 to 5,000 IUs a day is a good healthy dose for the summertime. And then of course, as winter and fall set in where it's darker out earlier, you would want to maybe amp up or double your vitamin D levels then. Taking probiotics daily is good. Probiotics are in your stomach, and 80% of your immune system is in your stomach. What probiotics do is they increase the white blood cells, the T and B lymphocytes of your blood cells, to fight and ward off bacteria and viruses. Cool. So if you're already taking it, you're being preventative if you are exposed to those things. And then the last thing is zinc. Zinc stops viral replication. So it's more effective if you're taking it if kids taking it preventatively. So giving a daily dose of zinc, we have Mary Ruth's on here, which is safe for kids to take as well. Just make sure if you're taking zinc, anybody, you take it with food.
Definitely.
If you don't take it with food, it will make you nauseous. It's not to be taken on an empty stomach. So that's helpful in if you were exposed to a virus, just stopping it in its tracks, really.
We also, just to throw that out there, we have the BioRate Kids supplements up there, which is the tummy and even the immune system. So those are two things that we definitely recommend for kiddos going back to school this summer or this year.
Right now, nice.
Right now.
If your child happens to get sick, these are some simple guidelines. Sometimes we get a little nervous with our first children, but when your body gets sick or when you start having symptoms, it is an expression of your body's, it's like your immune system's exercising. So like when we go to the gym and our muscles get sore, similar to that. So if we get sick, we want to do less. We want the noise to be less. So less volume on a TV or radio, avoid loud noises, even speak less to your child. The child, when your child's sick, they're really not going to want to eat too much, and that's okay. Their body will tell them when to eat again, especially if they have a fever, which we'll talk about fevers here in a moment. But just do less. Rest is very important.
You can add more things to their diet though. So if they're not actually wanting to eat food, like Dr. Yu was talking about, maybe they want more liquids. So adding in more water, but it doesn't have to be just water. You could do bone broth or increase the breast milk. You can even do soups instead of actual food. So it's less on the digestive system. Another thing would be sleep. Sleep is when your body is going to heal more. So letting your child sleep for longer periods of time is definitely a good thing if they are experiencing some sort of sickness. And then the last thing would be even breath work or breathing more. So just making sure that your kid is getting in deep breaths. If they understand that concept of breathing more like that, you can just do a few rounds of deep breathing with them throughout the day, and that can actually help increase that oxygen intake, which will help boost that immune system.
And it's okay to stop daily routine, not just for them, but if it's possible to stop daily routine for the family as well. Their brothers and sisters, maybe encourage them to take more naps or slow down. If they don't want to slow down, they could go outside and play, just so that their sibling can rest. Slowing down with your child is a good idea. Lots of snuggles. If they're young, some more skin-to-skin contact. Skin-to-skin contact helps promote hormones for healing. It also decreases stress hormones. So for whatever reason, if you're stressed out or about your child being sick, or your child might be stressed, skin-to-skin contact is a great way to decrease that. And just, snuggles feel good. It makes you rest easier. So increasing that, including the family, avoiding sugars, juices, flour, dairy, fried foods. Fried foods actually increase stress. They increase dehydration and mucus production. So it's going to make your child more snotty. And we're not trying to we're not focusing on the symptoms. We're focusing on the child, but we don't want to encourage more of that. We want more hydration and less mucus production.
Yeah, we want the body focused on fighting whatever's going on.
Fever support. So fevers are not necessarily bad. Your body is supposed to get a fever. So this is a good concept to be shown when we're teething. So think about when your child teethes. Now, we can't remember when we're teething, which is a great thing because it's painful. So think about the tooth is starting to bud and it breaks the skin of the gum. So if you think about bone breaking the skin, I know this is drastic, but it's open skin. Your body's going to naturally raise its temperature because there's it's open skin, and it wants to prevent bacteria from getting in that area. So it naturally will do that. Now, yes, there are some kids that go through teething and may not have a fever. We may not even realize they had a fever because they're still acting normal. But fevers are so common with teething. And it's supposed to raise the temperature to fight the bacteria that's possible to getting in that area. Low-grade fevers are typical with teething because low-grade fevers are typical for bacteria. The higher the fever, the more it might be a virus, because those are shown more with higher temperatures, 102 around that area. Nice. So if your kid has a fever, if they're teething or if they just have a fever in general, you want to meet their external temperature to their internal temperature because you feel so uncomfortable. So you want to take a warm bath. You could take one with them or just put them in the warm bath. If they haven't been eating because of the fever and you want to try and give them some bone broth or feed them, doing that in the bath, they will be the most comfortable to do that or take on snacks. So try to offer that then. And then getting adjusted, getting your chiropractic adjustment can help you heal quicker. Again, like we just said, getting adjusted can increase your immune system and help you fight. And then lots of snuggles, skin-to-skin contact. If we try to focus on the fever, if we try to focus on reducing the fever and the symptoms will actually last longer. But if we show our child more love and doing these things like the warm bath, and helping their body fight, it could heal quicker.
Next thing would be ear infections. So a lot of kids are getting ear infections. And so here's some quick tips that you guys could do for that. Again, chiropractor, getting adjusted. Just because your kid might be getting adjusted once a week, if they are trying to fight something, you might actually want to come in 2, maybe even 3 times, depending on how hard their body is trying to fight. And that will just continually boost their immune system, allow them to fight off whatever is happening. So that's always the first thing, especially if they're in ear infection, we can actually adjust the ear tubes to help open that up and allow either the silver or the garlic to go further down into their ear canal. So with the colloidal silver, you would just put a drop or 2 in whichever ear is infected. And you can also do that internal as well. And then with the garlic oil, there is a property in garlic called acillin that is helping to antibacterial. That's what I'm trying to say. It helps fight the bacteria. And so garlic oil, you would just, if you can't find it at the store, you can actually make it for yourself at home. So you would actually have fresh garlic and you would smash it so the acillin gets released, put that into like some olive oil, and then you could put a drop or 2 in the ear and hold that in the ear for a few minutes before tilting your head and letting it come back out.
So teething and ear infections are right together because it is very common for a child to have an ear infection while they're teething. It's basically a fight for room up here. They got mucus in their sinuses, and their ear canals are actually very horizontal. And then as we grow, they become more vertical, which means we can drain better. But when we're young, they're horizontal. It's harder to drain. So like Dr. J says, with adjustments, they can help them drain.
Moving on to some healthy lunch ideas. So snack ideas, lunch ideas, we understand that sometimes it's hard for a kid to want to eat good or healthy foods. So we thought about how we could make this fun for kids because we're picky. I was picky when I was a kid. So some fun ideas might be doing fruit kebabs for your children, or having like fun fruit, like making smiley face on pancakes. You can make pancakes, or smiley face in yogurt, something like that. It might make it a little bit more appeasing or appetizing to the kiddo.
And also offering a dessert with the meal. So I know we grew up where we were offered dessert after the meal, which I think made me eat more dessert because I wanted more. Maybe. I deserved it. I had the meal. But I read this somewhere recently and I thought it was a great idea. So maybe offering a small portion of the sweet with the meal. And then once we're done, which is a cool idea. And then if you're offering new options to your child, another good idea is maybe putting a small sliver, a small portion of that new thing with the rest of their options that they're used to. So if they've never had carrots before, maybe putting 1 carrot slice on their plate, maybe with a little bit of hummus on it. And then they can see that it's new and maybe try it then.
Another idea would be to just let them help in the kitchen. Potentially, if they're more hands-on, they're more apt to want to try it or maybe snack while they're helping you meal prep the food or pack their lunch for the next day, or cook breakfast, whatever it is. If they're more involved, maybe they'll be more likely to want to engage with that food and try that new food.
And then eating the colors of the rainbow. We're not talking about Skittles. We will talk about Skittles in a moment. But just trying to explore different colors with your kids, maybe putting them on a plate so it looks colorful. Some options, we'll go through some colors. Some purple options would be like plums and grapes, even kidney beans and beets. If you make a smoothie, maybe trying to sweeten it up with some beets. Another color would be orange. You can try apricots for something sweet, sweet potatoes, cantaloupe, oranges, papaya. Not all this at once, but just different variations of color. And then yellow, you could do pineapples, even butter, like showing that you cook with butter. Butter has a lot of benefit when it's grass-fed, healthy fats in it, butyrates in it, egg yolks, honey. Honey is going to be a better option when you're cooking, or I even use honey as if you were using syrup instead of using a syrup at the table for pancakes. I use honey because it's still sugar, but your body recognizes honey over other sugars.
Some more ideas for colors would be green, could be seaweed, although seaweed snacks are kind of odd, but some kids really love that. Seaweed snacks would be great. Kiwis are a really good idea. Broccoli, pears. I love kiwi too. And then even some red would be red apples, strawberries, raspberries are some ideas of reds. And the ideas of getting the whole variation of colors is to provide more nutrients for your kids as they grow up. So hopefully we're getting more nutrients through the foods. And that way maybe they might not need a multivitamin if they have good eaters and not picky eaters.
So we have some slides on some healthy swaps. There's so many colorful things in the grocery store in the packaged goods, and they're always advertised to kids. They're not always the healthiest options.
So true.
So first one is on the slide. The left one is a good one. Chomp Sticks are the new and better version of Slim Jims. I grew up on Slim Jims.
Me too.
Bad. They have chemicals in them to preserve them. The beef sticks, Chomps, are made from grass-fed beef. So that's a healthier option. It's better quality beef. And then if you go through and read the ingredients, there's like pepper in there, paprika, some spices that you recognize, and nothing that's to preserve it. So those are good snacks. And then the next one is going to be the Late July chips. Have better ingredients than Doritos. Again, Doritos have these chemicals in them, more preserving, and then some food dyes, which we'll jump into in a moment.
Instead of fruit snacks, so we all enjoy fruit snacks, but again, it's loaded with sugar. Maybe trying dried fruit, so dried apples, dried mangoes. I know at Trader Joe's they have a section of some dried fruits that you could try. Even banana chips might be a little bit better than just a pure fruit snack. And then even when it comes to hydration, so I thought this was super important because a lot of kids these days do Gatorade. Again, the food coloring is what we're after, and not having so many items or ingredients in it. So looking to more things like coconut water, because that will also help replace your electrolytes. Again, it's an acquired taste, so you might have to add it with some water first, but the coconut water that we have up there is actually very naturally sweet. That was a really good one. Or you could do electrolyte drink mix. So there's a couple of these out there these days, but Element is one. There's also one called Superior. So looking into, like if your kid plays sports, looking into electrolyte drink mixes that have less bad things in them for them, but still helps them replenish their sodium, potassium, and magnesium.
Some other options, so Hawaiian Punch or other flavored fruit drinks. It's not even a juice, it's a drink with a lot of stuff in it. You could actually infuse, this would be fun. This would be fun to help your kids and get your kids involved in the kitchen with, is just chopping up some fruit. You could do strawberry mint mix and put it in some water. There's a lime and another fruit. But to put fruit in to not sweeten, but to make your waters flavored naturally would be fun. You can put it in the fridge and then they can grab it. They can see it. It'd be fun. The thing I want to note with Hawaiian Punch, and we have the Skittles up here, and we mentioned food dye. Red number 40 is one of the biggest factors that causes hyperactivity in kids. It's actually banned in other countries. It's funny because they could have the same products offered, but they're made differently, which I think is crazy. So red dye you want to avoid. So that and high fructose corn syrups are where I would start with the kids and the ingredients you want to start avoiding. Red 40 is also a neurotoxin. It's bad for your nerves. It attacks your nerves slowly over time. Some other things and products that, like I said, colorful things, right? That have red 40 specifically in them are going to be cereals like Fruit Loops and Captain Crunch. Gatorade, like we showed before, has food dye in it. The red one has red 40. Airheads, Skittles. Skittles were actually recalled recently because I think they had sodium, a metal in them. But there's other ingredient or other products in the store that have that as well. So I just want to stress it's important to turn it around. Yes, you can read the caloric and the nutritional facts, but reading the ingredients and recognizing them it goes a long way.
It's a good point, reading the list. So some other snacks that we have on there are maybe like an organic popcorn, like that lesser evil bag of popcorn instead of Cheetos or other sorts of chips. We also have making homemade popsicles. Again, getting it in the kitchen with the kiddo might be something fun, like a fun activity. And then they're involved in the process. And then later it's something healthy, but using actually real fruit in those popsicles, maybe Greek yogurt, putting honey in it to sweeten it. That way you know what's in the popsicle.
There's a lot of recipes out there. I saw a recipe recently, like that orange one was with coconut milk, frozen coconut milk, and oranges in there, which would be like a natural creamsicle.
Yes.
Sounds good.
And then we have for candy options up there because Halloween's coming, I guess. I don't know. But candy in general, right? So there's a brand called Yum Earth and Unreal. And those are a little bit better in terms of it's sweetened with like stevia instead of actual sugar.
Well, they do have sugar, but they don't have the dyes. I know the Giggles have sugar, but they don't have the red, the yellow. They're colored with like turmeric and other spirulina. You'll see that on there. So that's what makes them more organic.
Gotcha. But at the end of the day, it's still sugar. So just beware. Some more snacks that we have at home. Trying like those Simple Mills crackers instead of Ritz crackers, again, because the ingredients are better than what's in a Ritz. I love this idea of making your own Lunchable for the kiddos when it comes to packing lunches for kids. Again, trying some sort of better chip or cracker and then more organic meat. Like Applegate is a really good brand that doesn't have nitrates that would be bad for the kiddos. And then a grass-fed like cheese, and then having them help dice things up and pack it themselves. So then at school they can pack it and make their own little Lunchable themselves.
Yeah. We also read an article recently. Remember the article with so food as well as your bodies carry energy and food made with love. So think about food when you're praying over your food with gratitude. That actually stimulates your digestive enzymes to help you digest it. But also food made with love. So leaving notes for your kids in their lunch boxes actually helps their digestive systems, and their body receives the food more because it was made with love. So
that's cute.
It's so cool. You showed me that. And then some more options are different chips. So not necessarily just advertising the veggie chips. Actually, I think they have bad oil, like canola oil in them. The other ones we have up here are carrot sticks. Carrots are still higher in sugar, but it's going to be more nutritious because it's some nutrition to them, vitamin A and so forth, more so than those veggie sticks. And then different syrups. So rather than Aunt Jemima that we grew up on, having real maple syrup, again, that is sugar. I would say the next option, something I like to do is, this could be fun. If you're making protein pancakes or pancakes out there that you don't have to use lots of sugar with, you can take strawberries or blueberries or fruit. Berries are lower in glycemic index. You can heat them on the stovetop with butter, maybe add a little honey to caramelize it. And as you cook it, you're creating like your own syrup, and there's no chemicals in it.
Got to try that next time.
You do.
So let's talk backpacks really fast because kids are going back to school. And hopefully kids have like a good ergonomic backpack for them. Ergonomic is just a big word, but what I would say when you're looking for a backpack is that they are designed to reduce the strain if they have good padded straps. I also like the idea of having more pockets or compartments so that you can kind of disperse the weight through the backpack. But I wanted to give you some tips on helping the kids pack the backpack because I think that's really important. So when we're talking about a backpack, and kids carry lots of books these days, notebooks, whatever it is, I would honestly say the first thing is, which I think most kids do these days, but just take out whatever is not necessary for that day of school. Making sure that you pack the heaviest thing closest to their back. So whether it's a big binder or a textbook, packing that closest to their back. The other things that you can check on is actually that the bottom of the backpack shouldn't go below their waist, like 3 or 4 inches below their waist is going to be too far, and that's going to put a lot of strain on their back.
Too saggy.
Yes, and that can create back pain. We've totally had kids come in saying that their back hurts from wearing their backpack, and it's because they have to carry a lot of things. So if they have like if they have to take multiple textbooks, maybe even taking a textbook out so they can carry it in their arms as well would be more helpful than having everything loaded onto their back. And then again, the pockets ideas is just to disperse the weight. So having small things in different pockets can be helpful in terms of having the weight dispersed evenly throughout the backpack. Making sure that the straps are padded. If there is a the waist strap, or even a chest strap, that can help disperse the weight as well. And then I was going to say, when it comes to the weight, the total weight of the backpack, it shouldn't be more than 10% of the kiddo's body weight. So for example, if your child weighs 100 pounds, that backpack shouldn't be more than 10 pounds. If it is, it can start to create issues.
It's easy math.
Oh, I was like, what? Yeah. So those are just some tips. Hopefully you help your kids with their backpacks. And yeah, if they have to carry things, or if it is allowed, I don't know if a kid would want this, but a rolly backpack in school, they might be deemed as the not cool kid, but it helped them in the long run. Rolly backpack.
I know. I was trying to think back when we were kids. I'm like, one of my textbooks was a few pounds.
Oh yeah, my history book was always the biggest.
Yeah,
it was like 8 pounds maybe.
Wow, I remember. I think we had weighed my backpack, and it was like 15 pounds one time. It's crazy. So just having the awareness, like you said, dispersing it. I love these ideas. I wish we did that.
Didn't do it.
So benefits of being outside, kids, we're supposed to be moving. Our bodies are meant to move and play. Having kids get movement throughout the day. They sit in school, so getting them outside to play afterwards whenever they need to come in and do their homework, that's on the family choices, but they should get some movement throughout the day when they get home. While it's still summer and lighter outside longer, that's a great time to continue to play outside. Free play is awesome, playing with friends and siblings outside. It also helps communicative skills, communication, and it also helps conflict and resolution as we grow up, learning to play with friends outside. And then vitamin D, getting vitamin D just from being in the sunlight as the days are longer, which is awesome. Helps immunity like we talked before. And one other thing that's awesome is playing outside exposes you to good germs in the soil. We talk about grounding here, walking outside barefoot. Well, to have your kids do that now is going to benefit them later in life. And there's studies that show more exposure to dirt can decrease depression and anxiety. And I know like some kids more now these days, we have these diagnoses. And so just to get outside, get fresh air, playing with your family and friends and getting out in the dirt can be so helpful to your body.
I remember when I used to walk to school back in the day. I don't
Did
think
you?
they like,
Sorry, it's okay.
Mike.
Let's put it on the desk.
Yep. Just grab this. Sorry,
We're
guys. Almost done. But I remember back in the day when I used to be able to walk to school, right? I don't think they let kids like me enter school these days anymore. But I was able to walk to school, which I would get a lot of sunlight. And then after I came home from school, though, I would be able to play in the neighborhood with friends. So I always thought that was super important, is being able to play before I did my homework. That was like my thing before I actually had to sit down and do homework, was being able to play outside. So sorry about that, y'all.
That's cool. I never got to walk to school.
Every day.
Screen time swaps. So I feel like there's more computers in school now as well. And listen, sometimes kids just want to be on an iPad playing a game. And during the summer, we're just coming off summertime, a lot more time at home. So I understand when it's needed, long car rides. But some reminders of some good options is they have these cool coloring pads now, not just with like pens, but like the old, it's like an old, like our Etch-a-Sketch, but They have like ones that aren't necessarily a screen, but like you can draw on with pens, like just on that pad, which is pretty cool. Gardening, including the kids in the garden, getting dirty with taking care of the plants, playing outside, riding bikes, doing family things together.
Yeah.
family games, puzzles. I was recently told by a therapist who does a lot of getting more into that child brain, because that's where a lot of our brain develops, is in childhood. And she told me that card games is really what helps kids' memory and their problem solving in their brain throughout life. So playing cards with your kids, I grew up playing cards.
That's pretty cool.
I always had fun. I get really competitive. But playing cards with your kids can help with that development, building toys, reading, and arts and crafts.
Good swaps. I like this. And then the last thing we have for you guys, hopefully you've enjoyed everything, but we just wanted to resource you with a couple of places where we got some of our tips. Mama Natural and Wellness Mama have some really good tips and blogs. They have great books and websites that you guys can go to. They even have foods and recipes on there. If you wanted more specific on just cooking, we listed some cooking sites that we really enjoy. Again, they try to use like fresh whole ingredients and make things fairly simple and not too difficult when it comes to recipes. And then for Instagram, because I get a lot of my information from Instagram, I love their things. But Just Ingredients is a really good one. She does a lot of those swaps like we just had. She'll show a lot of those, not only when it comes to food, but even like home products, cleaning products that you put on your body. So that's just a really good person to follow.
We love these resources. There's a lot of good stuff out there. If you want our suggestion, reach out to us, contact us through Instagram, through our email, info@TwinCityHealth. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Bye.
Bye.